Hey everybody, welcome to my kitchen. I'm Tina Wells from Living Nutrition Delish, and I wanted to show you a really fun recipe today that involves some shrimp and some feta cheese. So lately I've been seeing a lot of these recipes online where you melt feta till it's like liquefied and then you stir it into pasta. And let me tell you, as a Greek person, this is something we don't typically do. But what I'm going to show you today is a really great traditional recipe from the area of Mikrolimano, which is near the area of the Piraeus where the big port is in Athens. And this is a shrimp dish that was probably, invented many years ago because of the abundance of shrimp and other seafood in that part of the country. And I'm very grateful because one of the things I can eat when it comes to dairy a little bit is feta cheese. Now, feta, as I prefer to call it, some people say feta, is one of those things that people buy in the grocery store. You can buy it crumbled in a little container. You can buy it with different types of milk. But the traditional feta, which is actually a protected designation as of 2002, is only made in specific areas of Greece and only made from sheep's or goat's milk. So as a purist, that's what I prefer. And since cow's milk doesn't really work for me, this is sheep's milk. So let's get started. First, I'm just going to heat up this pan, and I'm going to add a little bit of ghee just to get it warm, not even a teaspoon. And what I'm going to show you is enough for one person, so feel free to multiply this recipe for more than one person. And then with this ghee, I'm just putting in about a teaspoon of olive oil as well. You don't even need this much oil if you just want to use one or the other. That's fine. I'm going to see who might be here today with me. Am I live? Can you see me? I see some people coming on, but I can't read across my screen. So while that's heating up, I'm going to show you what makes this recipe really quick and easy. These shrimp are already cooked, peeled and deveined, frozen shrimp that I thawed and then just patted dry. And I'm going to add these to this skillet, maybe not quite yet, not quite warm enough. So I have 3 or 4 shrimp per serving. And maybe while that pan's heating up, I can show you what I'm going to cook them in, because ultimately this is going to go either into the broiler or the oven to bake. I'm going to do it in my air fryer, which also operates as a oven, convection oven, and broiler. I'm going to do it in this little stainless pan today. These are great for individual servings. You can also do, if you have a little cast iron pan or a little bakeable ceramic, they're fun to serve individually. Or if you wanted to do a big pan, a pan like this with a handle that can go into the oven is really easy to just take this whole thing after you make it and put it in the oven, and then you could serve it as an entree over cauliflower rice if you don't do grain or rice. So this is nice and hot now. You can see it's very shimmery. And I'm just going to put these in to get a little bit of color on each side. That's really all I'm trying to do, because they're going to bake in the oven and I don't want them to get too overdone. Nothing worse than shrimp that have that very tough, rubbery texture. I'm going to grab some tongs and I'll be right back. So you can see these are already sizzling. They're looking really good. And they just have that little bit of golden butteriness on the one side from the olive oil and the ghee. And you don't want to turn them if they're sticking. Make sure they're sliding around. And I don't need a nonstick pan for this. If you let it if the pan is preheated and you get a good sear on it, you really don't need to worry about any type of non-toxic coating on your pans. I prefer to cook with pans that are safe and not nonstick. So these are done. That's really all they need, because they're going to continue to cook when we put them in the oven. So I'm just going to put them right into this little dish. And now to the fat that I already have going in here, I'll just set this aside. I'm gonna add about a 1/4 cup of red onion. And I already have this diced. Move this over a little bit so you can see. And I'm just looking for this to get translucent. I like the red onion for this recipe because it has a nice pungent onion flavor. Whenever you're sauteing something, you don't want to keep moving it around a lot. You just want to let it sort of do its thing and then shake the pan so everything is nice and even and not piled up in one place, and it cooks a lot more evenly. Then to that, I'm going to add some diced up peppers. I just have, you can use whatever you have. I love these mini peppers. I think they're delicious. They're super simple to cut up and dice or fill however you like. So I just diced up some multicolor peppers. About a 1/2 cup I'm going to throw in. And those can saute along with the onions. So while those are going, I'm going to talk to you about these little tomatoes. You can use any tomatoes you have in season, whatever's local is best. I love these little heirloom grape tomatoes. They come in lots of different colors, and I just quartered the larger ones and halved the smaller ones, and the colors look great with the peppers. So those are going in. And again, what I'm showing you is about 1 serving, but you can do as much of this as you like. You can see there's not any real recipe for this. And the tomatoes have a lot of liquid, so I'm going to let that reduce out a little bit so it's not a watery dish. And you can see anything that's sort of stuck to the bottom of the pan, I can scrape right up with that liquid. It's almost like deglazing the pan, and those little flavorful nubbies get right into the sauce. So while that's sauteing a little bit, I'm going to show you I have some herbs from my yard, some Greek oregano, and it's very strong, so I'm not using a lot, but I wanted to show you how I strip the leaves because this is so easy. Just hold it from the top and pull backwards, and the leaves come right off. And then just pinch off the top. And you have the stem separate. You don't have to chop up into your fresh herbs. And just from stripping that off of the stem, the smell of the oregano is so wonderful. I'll slide this out of the way so you can see. I'm just going to bundle this up together in one bunch and go through it quickly with the knife. And again, one of my favorite knife techniques is to make sure that you know if you're holding anything that you have your fingers back, your fingertips back, and your knuckles forward. So if you bump anything with the edge of that blade, it's going to be your knuckle and not the tip of your finger. So I'm holding the bunch with the back of my my thumb in the back, and then guiding the knife blade with my knuckles until I get it to a reasonable size, just like that. And this is smelling really good. So I'm going to add about a 1/4 cup of tomato sauce. This is organic tomato sauce right out of the can. And I like this to have a nice thick flavor, consistency. I'm going to throw a little salt and pepper in here. I'm using pink sea salt from Hawaii that I picked up on a trip. You can use whatever you like. And now this is going to go right on top of these shrimp. Make sure you can see that. I'm just going to arrange that so that the shrimp have a nice base. And now here's the fun part. This is about maybe a tablespoon of feta. It's really all you need. If you like more, feel free to add more. I'm just crumbling it up with my hands. And I'm making sure that the whole top is covered. So you can see how that looks. And now I'm just going to sprinkle some of this fresh oregano on top. And save a little for when it comes out too, okay? I'm going to put this in the oven and I'll show you what it looks like finished. So all you really have to do with this is make sure that the sauce is a little bubbly and that the feta looks like it's a little browned. Real feta isn't going to liquefy. It's just going to brown like that and get nice and melty on the inside. So let's take a bite and see how this is. And I also like to give it a good squeeze of fresh lemon over the top right before I serve it. And that dish is hot, so make sure if you serve it like this for your guests that you're making sure that they understand that it's warm. And it's okay to leave the tails on too, but if you like to take them off, go ahead and take them off. I'm just scooping up a little bite of the feta with some of the peppers and a piece of the shrimp. Doesn't that look delicious? And it's hot. And the shrimp have a wonderful consistency. You can use fresh shrimp if you like, but you know, this is just as quick and easy. They're so delicious. That brininess from the feta and the fresh oregano. We can even add a little more fresh oregano to the top. Super simple, something you can use as an appetizer or as a side dish or as an entree. As I said, if you want to serve it with rice or cauliflower rice and just spoon this over the top, or you can bake it all together as a casserole. There's so many options for a simple dish like this. So give it a try. And if you do, be sure to mention me in your post. I love to see your photos. Let me know if you have any questions about any of my recipes. This will be on the website tomorrow. I am doing some updates on my website, so it's under construction. If you go on, you may not find what you're looking for, but feel free to DM me. I'm happy to answer any questions. And one last thing, my Whole30 group will be starting again on Thursday is the beginning of prep, and March 1st is day one. But don't worry about prep. I can get you caught up. If you decide you want to join, just shoot me a DM or go to my website, livingdelishandnutrish.com/enroll now. And I would love to have you join us. So until next week, when I come back with another recipe, feel free to give this a try. I hope that I see you on Instagram. Welcome to all my new followers. I really appreciate you joining me here. I'm building a great little community, and I'm so glad you're with me. So until next week, thank you. And as we say in Greek, yasu.